Welcome you all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Crispin Valentin. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel, because why? Why not? You got nothing to lose, but lots to gain. Amazing stories like the gentleman that we have today. This is the second time he's been on the podcast. However, it's like I interview a completely different gentleman. Accomplice, K104, the fly muchacho, the Latino Al Pacino, as you heard him before on his IG. Man, you got to check it out. This episode is amazing. Truly, lots of jewels that he threw at us. So, enjoy the episode. Accomplice en la casa. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Yes, sir, man. Hey, I had to stop by, man. This is where the Latinos stop by to talk some Latino stuff. You know what I'm
Absolutely. This is the number one spot to be able to come and show you story. I had amazing influential Latinos in the house, and you're no different. You're doing your thing in the radio now. We talk about it more here in a little bit, but first, Preguntas al Chile. We did a version of him. It's a little bit different, but we still want to know maybe his palette changed over the years, maybe something different. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I don't know what you're waiting for right now. You got nothing to lose, but amazing things to gain, like this amazing story that he's going to share with us. Accomplice, ¿estás listo? Fly muchacho.
Ready?
Tacos o tortas?
Torta.
What kind of torta?
Bistec, carne asada.
Bistec o carne asada. Corn tortilla, flour tortilla.
Corn.
Gorditas or pupusas?
Gorditas.
Jarrito, what flavor?
Piña.
Piña with a torta?
Yeah.
So hard.
Right
Horchata, jamaica or tamarindo?
Tamarindo.
Salsa verde or salsa roja?
Verde.
Enchiladas or chiles rellenos?
Enchiladas.
Menudo o pozole?
Pozole.
Tabasco, Valentina or Cholula hot sauce?
That one's tough. Probably Tabasco.
Tabasco. Churros or flan?
Churros.
Whenever Accomplice now on the radio, out partying on about with the family. Cumbia, salsa, merengue, or bachata dancing?
Cumbia.
Ah, yes. A conspiracy theory that when you heard one time, that when you heard, it's like, ooh, that could be real, or that could be true. It could be regarding anything, whether it be religion or just in general, aliens, whatever. Anything comes to mind?
On the conspiracy theory, I think Elon is gonna get us to Mars eventually.
Yeah, I can see it. I
guess that's a recent one, when you start YouTubing.
you know what's crazy though? Like to think about that.
Because some people say it's impossible, and I'm just like, man, he just saved the astronauts.
We're gonna get there. So imagine like how we say it's such a small world sometimes. Whenever you run to people, like, oh my God, such a small world. Imagine whenever we get those people over there, and they're looking across, and there's Earth over there, like such a small galaxy. That's crazy, right? All right, so I asked you this one before. However, since you've been on the radio, since one of the only Latinos doing it on the big station, when you hear the word Latino or Latina, what is the first, or Latinx, what is the first things that comes to mind for you?
Culture, I think it's cool to stick out, and we definitely stick out.
Your answer definitely changed from the last time. I think you said reggaeton. And it's definitely you got a little bit more responsibility now.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think that comes to mind is culture, man. Because when as soon as they mention Latino, I guess in my job where I'm at now, because I'm considered like scarcity, so it's like, but yeah, I guess it did change, man. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Do you care if anybody calls you Latino? Do you rather be Mexican American? Do you care at all whatsoever if anybody says anything like that to you?
No, I mean their preference. They gonna call you what they call you, but yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and start with this. So I'm gonna go back because I watched our old interview just for some references and things that I had in mind, and now where you're at is totally not what you imagined. I remember in one of your interviews you said that if it was like a coloring book or anything, that thing was like, that wasn't even on the box as far as you thinking to be on the radio. Now that you're in the radio, how does it feel looking back, growing up, and not even having that picture as to what you're doing now?
It's just a proof of how God works. Like how if once you start finding your purpose or your calling and you start going to that, you just noticing doors keep opening to the right, and you're like, maybe I'm supposed to go right. And the fact that it led me here is like, oh, I've been talking ish my whole life. Who thought I'd make a career out of it? You know, so the fact that it led me here, it makes me more comfortable that I'm actually living my purpose, my calling. You know.
Was there anybody in your family that you feel you got the way of you talking or the way you being expressive? Was it your mom that you felt like maybe without even realizing?
My pops, man.
Your pops?
Yeah, pops crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Pops is crazy. Yeah, had to be my pops. Yeah, he's a hustler. He's just one of them dudes, man. Just knows how to get it and make a way. So
Yeah.
I'd have to say him. My mom's more, shy, silent type, keeps to herself, but not pops crazy.
That's cool. That's cool. It's always trips me out the way that the environment we grow around. Mm-hmm. Because I know there's some of the things that you have mentioned, right? Growing up with just very little, poor, different things like that. Like the thing that tripped me out about the things that you were saying in one of the interviews were like the people that you looked up to was not the regular people that you would say, maybe the villains, right?
Yeah, I always looked up to the bad guys.
But you think they were bad guys, or you think they were just grew in the wrong environment? They were trying to make something for themselves.
I think society called them bad guys. Mm-hmm. You know, they were like, nah. Whenever they tell you to stay away from them type of people, that's whenever they go into the bad guy category.
Right.
Because it's like, they ain't going to say that about, if they tell you stay away from a preacher, there's something to it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's a bad guy, So that's where your mind goes to. So I just think I started looking up to him once you start realizing certain bad guys, in the streets because, they just look so happy, with the clothes or the fashion to the cars to the, the females they're with. And then you start realizing, man, if there's just bad guys, why they look so happy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
something's not adding up for the people that are telling you to stay away.
So then you wonder,
mm-hmm.
And curiosity, man, that's, that'll get to you. And then if they embrace you, and then you realize, and then they're like, oh, man, what's up? You want some money or whatever it may be, and then you get intrigued, and then you're like, well.
I like the way you explained the fast lane part. Can you explain to me one more time how the money, fast life, that comes about really? Because it really comes faster instead of like, let's say a guy that works for almost a year to save for a car where you can literally get something for you, go put it out in the street or work in the corner before you know you got that car quicker.
Well, let's put it like this.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you want to get somewhere and GPS tells you it's going to take you this long and somebody tells you, man, I know a shortcut, that's because there's traffic. You're going to gravitate towards the shortcut. Yeah. That's kind of how hustling is. You can go work 40 hours a week and make $400. Or you can get outside for a day and make that.
Yeah, that's true.
In 5 hours.
And I also was thinking about the villain part because in the same interview, I believe you were talking about, some really good people that unfortunately certain situations they got into and now they're still good people, but just because of something that happened, a mistake, now they happen to, be in jail, whatever the case might be, right?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people act off of their situation. So, say you're not accustomed to getting out of jail or making a mistake. Like me, I was incarcerated very young. So, say had I got out and I didn't have no family to fall back on or anything like that, that's when your role models come in, whether it be your parents or whoever it is. Mm-hmm. Because if you come out and you ain't got nothing and then you're trying to start and then people don't want to give you a chance because they're like, oh, we don't hire felons, and then you end up at this low paying job. And, that's where the cycle, that's where they say the system, you know, kind of damns him where he can't succeed because now he's working for low wages, the only places that will take him. So then he gravitates to, robberies and stuff like that because he needs money,
Isn't that crazy, though? Because you pay your debt to society by doing time in jail because you did something wrong, mm-hmm. and now you already paid your debt to society. But is it really ever paid?
That's why it's good to sometimes help people,
mm-hmm.
because you don't know what they're going through, and sometimes you don't know how far that little bit of help can go. But if you really want to go out there and get it, I mean, they put it you know, just like if I wouldn't have been in my situation, I would have never been able to go to barber school. And because I was incarcerated, it got me a grant. They got me to. So there's ways if you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? But some people need that money ASAP, so they'll choose to go steal something, or, you know, that's why I say this. When you grow up a certain way, your definition of right and wrong is different. And I had to explain that to my kids, because I have to be like, ask your mom, because sometimes I still don't really know the difference between right or wrong. Like, I think if somebody does something to you, it is right to do something back.
Mm-hmm.
But in all the situations, yeah, but that's not always right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could go to jail, or it could escalate into something else instead of just letting it go. Breathe.
There could be tatty tellers. There could be tatty tellers and telling you quickly, and not be street goods and like
happened.
fist it out. You know.
You know.
Yeah.
Like whatever may happen. You know what I'm saying? You got a slice of pizza and somebody steals your pizza, and you go to the restroom and you come back and you're like, should I fight this kid? Then you fight the kid, and then it leads up to somebody getting stabbed or somebody. You know, it's just escalate when it could have died. It wasn't that serious.
Correct.
And me, I'm the wrong person to ask for advice, because my definition of right and wrong is different. I'd be like, psh, you better not let him take that. You better do something.
You better do something about it.
That's when it's like, well,
Is
let's think about it. Let's chill here for a second.
Yeah.
That's what I say by that. That's why I say there's a lot of people who are put in situations where they're like, man, they wouldn't normally do that, but they felt like they had to because they was back against the wall.
So to me, whenever you talk like that, the word respect comes to mind, because
Absolutely.
That's a lot of that within the streets. Like, you have to be able to, or even in jail, because otherwise you'll be somebody's little B, and you don't want to be that.
Well, that's when I started understanding the true meaning of strength.
Mm-hmm.
Like, strength ain't you going out there and beating people up because you're strong. Strength is like knowing, man, I could do something to you, but I'm really trying not to. That's when the people who are strong work and they have a job, and the boss is barking at them, and they're like, man, I could. You know what I'm saying? But what would that get you?
Yeah.
You're going to lose your job. You're going to be back at square one. So that's when I tell you, I still don't know the difference between wrong and right, because my emotions still get the best of me.
You know what's crazy?
But I can't tell that to my sons.
Yeah.
They have to be better than me. I can't make them little me's.
So,
I was too messed up to have them go through even 33% of that.
So when you're having those conversations, then they're looking up to you because you're dad. You're still Superman to them. Like, how do you maneuver that? Do you have your wife help you out with that? Because you just not really able to articulate because you're still working through some things, and have your mom have a talk, have the mom have a talk, or
and that's why we need, you know, a mom and a dad in the households. Mm-hmm. We don't need all this. Oh, I want to be single and hot girl summer and all that. Like, I believe in a strong family. I believe in, you know, fathers taking care of their sons. I believe in, because they need them talks. They need that guidance. Like, that's what we're here for.
Right.
And, you know, I just think we need to build more men that are actually men. And, you know, we got to handle situations accordingly. Every situation is different. You know, that's why it's hard to just say, well, in general, do this. Nah, you got to play it off the situation.
Not one size fits all for everything.
Yeah, but if you act off emotion, normally, man, I think about 7 out of 10, you're going to do the wrong choice.
Can you give me one example, one thing that it went that way for you because you felt that was the right way to do based on what you were known, and now you're looking back, you're like, damn, that was the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, I can name a lot of them, but I'd rather not. But yeah, there has been situations where something occurs and you're caught in the middle of it, and you know that if you don't do something, it's actually worse for you than doing it. So retaliation at that point, when you're in that type of lifestyle, it's like, man, I better do something because it's going to be bad for me if I don't.
I got you.
So now that's whenever they force your hand.
Okay. Yeah, I respect it. We don't have to talk about it, but
it's like you and your brother have a job together, and you're his boss, and he messes up, and he's like, cover my ass. And it's like, nah, bro, I gotta discipline you. Because if I don't, it's gonna fuck me up with weakness. It's like, well, you let your brother get by with it.
Yep.
That's what it leads to.
Yep.
So it's like, then you look at your brother like, damn, man, why you made me do this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Even itself, like I remember, growing up with my nieces having the discipline, even though I love the kids, but you have to be stern and firm and be able to discipline, because otherwise.
But if you don't discipline them, maybe they'll be like, well, you can't watch them no more.
Yeah.
Then you're like, damn, I should discipline them. So you're like, I got to.
So yeah, you have to, like you said, that every situation has a different way of
all
approaching
different.
it. I heard, I don't know if it's true, but a lot of the actual martial artists, the best self-defense is to walk away instead of engaging on, the fighting part, because they know they can whoop you behind, but
Exactly.
they choose instead of
That's
walking
why I
away.
say that's a strong man.
Yeah, that's a strong man.
That's real strength. When you literally holding yourself back, that's to me is straight now, and I respect it a lot more.
Yeah, I know you talked about your name a few times. I know how it came about. Being accomplished for certain things. But in general, do you remember the exact point to where was it accomplished to, like, for rapping as the artist name, or was it just in general nickname for the homies?
Nah, it didn't come about until I had to make an artist name. Because I didn't have one.
Cool.
Yeah, so it just made sense to. My current situation was that, so it's like
I like it, bro. It grows. Like, it got some weight to it in the city now. I don't know if you realize it, but I'm pretty sure you can. That it does.
and it is dope. It is dope because it's a unique name, but it's also familiar because everyone hears it. So,
Were you hitting the open mics already as Accomplice? Whenever I remember, you said you went into either it was a spoken word or open mic. Is that a thing that you wanted to do because you wanted to get on stage and try to see how it felt to actually rap or perform, or why were you hitting those spots up back in the days?
because when I got incarcerated, you don't get much money on your book, so I was in there hustling. I would write poems because I was young. I'm like 18 years old in there, and rap is rhythm and poetry.
Yes, sir.
So I'm in there writing poems with my homeboys drawing, and we're selling it. So say it's your mom's birthday. Hey, I got this Jevita poem. So, give us $3, and we split $1.50 each in food, which is quite a bit of food when you're in prison. So it's like I was in there hustling. I had all these rhymes, so I just kept writing new materials. If it's your daughter's birthday, here's Daddy's Little Princess. If it's your son, Raising Kings, so that whole just writing. I had a bunch of rhymes where now I'm venting on paper, where it's like I just got to get this off my chest. And then
do you find it therapeutic when you do things like that?
I did at the time.
At that time? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as I grew, then I found it different ways. That was my therapeutic activity because of my predicament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some people may box or hit it. It's like, I'm stuck in a cell. Got this pen and paper. Then it becomes my therapeutic activity.
Yeah.
I don't know. Had I tapped into that, had I not been in that situation, which is why I'm saying as life goes through, you realize God has a plan for you. And no matter which way it goes, if he wants you to go a certain way, he's going to make you. No matter how hard did you try to keep going this way, he's taking you this way. So that's why it's a blessing to be where I'm at. Because I had to go through what I went through to have the mind frame now to really appreciate and handle my situation accordingly now.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that the big station part.
My mental capacity is because of what it's been through.
Absolutely. So it's been building for you to be where you're at. Like, it's the preparation and the journey before you get to the destination at the moment where you're at in order to do the things that you needed to do. Because if it wasn't for that journey, you wouldn't be able to do the things you do now.
But that's what made me hit the open mics, because I had all this stuff. I was like, man, I just want to try these on a mic with a beat. And then that's what led to being an artist. So
a gentleman found you, gave you an opportunity. He had I believe you said he probably worked at FedEx, had pretty good money, had a studio. So he starts kind of sort of recording you. He got an engineer to record you. How does it feel for you to hear yourself a track recorded? First of all, you kind of sort of had to figure out how to do it, how to be on beat, how to actually get recorded. And once you get it done, what does it feel for you to hear yourself on a track?
It's actually shocking because you don't expect to sound like that, because once you get your cadence down and you get your breathing down and how to deliver everything, you spit your rhymes, and then once it goes through the microphone, through the compressor, and then it starts getting added reverb and all these other plugins that I don't even know the names of, your voice sounds, man, amazing, and you're like, wow, I sound like that. Which is why you'll hear a singer who sings in the shower singing in a professional studio, and it's like totally different because of all them little, like it's like a piece of raw chicken, and then you give it to a chef, they gonna season that thing up, and then it's amazing. But you're the one who provided the chicken.
So you provide the chicken. You actually, do you remember your first song and what was it?
I don't, man. That's a good question. Nah, I don't. It was probably something dumb, but
At the time, it felt pretty cool though, right? To be able to hear yourself.
hit.
Hit?
That was a hit. That was a hit.
Hit.
Platinum.
Put it on the radio.
Ready to go.
Let's go.
Tours.
All right. So you keep moving forward. I don't know if the situation with the gentleman, y'all keep working together, but eventually you started, because at that time, you thought that strength of numbers matter, and so you became with the homies, first Money First ENT, which is pretty much like a crew, and then it became like a rapping thing. So is that what
Once
happened
again,
next?
our situation, we needed an artist,
Yeah.
a label name.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, we already had this going on.
Pretty much just the homies in the neighborhood became a label. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a bunch of people I knew, we weren't all from the same neighborhood, but we all knew each other. So
you can bring the mic to yourself, bro. So make sure you
yeah.
So
So
you
like,
be comfortable. Be comfortable.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I kept leaning up, but yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
That's pretty cool. And then you keep moving forward. Again, that chapter when it first ends, but you still got introduced to hosting. What I mean by hosting is being the MC in clubs and kind of doing a little bit of promotion with the clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the last interview. A gentleman finds you at a car wash because you really can't maintain a job, but he sees that you got a mouthpiece and you might be able to work at the club. So they start using you for promotion and actually MCing. When was your first actual MCing club situation that you had?
It was 2009, Club Malibu, Lower Greenville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get the hang of it immediately as far as MCing and working the crowd? It was just the habit to get on the mic and
My
yell.
boy Robbie Rob threw me up there. Shout out him. But yeah, they were called G5 Promotions. I think I had to tone it down. I think I was too much for it, but
Don't you get super excited because you get to talking? Because I'll be the same way. Like, bro, just calm down.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like I was doing too much.
Yeah.
And then, liquid courage, plays a part. So, but yeah, man, it was awesome too. The fact that you get to pay to do that. And that's whenever I was like, you get paid to do this. So once you find out I can get paid to do it, I'm like, well, man, I'm going to do this at a top tier level. And then now people are just requesting my services and I'm charging them. And to the point I was able to quit all my other jobs, and that's what I did.
Just MCing and promoting clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So you had that run for some time, still working on the crowd, being on the mic, kind of sort of finding your voice and how good it works for you. Then you get into the high roller situation. And, of course, you and tell me, who won the battle whenever you called out Word Life? You beat him?
Yeah.
By far or pretty close?
Man, hands down. Hands down.
Would he agree to that or disagree to that?
He knows.
All right. So, of course, y'all kind of in the music scene, so y'all kind of sort of around each other, right?
Yeah.
But then eventually y'all have a track, All I Blow Is Fuego, and that kind of is kind of a really good track. Y'all get a lot of traction from that, right?
Yeah, it catapulted us because at that time, the popularity of the whole weed culture was really booming.
Gotcha.
In the underground market. And, us being Latinos, we just, opportunity meets preparation. So, opportunity came, we were prepared for it, we took advantage.
So y'all started getting pretty hot with that record, All I Blow Is Fuego, even the private jets, Pilot Says, y'all some high rollers. Before you know it, it becomes a high roller.
Yeah, because it just used to be Accomplice and Word Life. And then when the private jet came, that's when we became the high rollers.
High rollers, yeah. And I seen Real Life Street Star interview a few times how everything that y'all have looks like you already made it. And you always said, we already made it. Like, you know what I mean? Coming from an outhouse to a little bitty town in Salina, not having a lot of money to flying a private jet, I mean, it's not like a Main Street artist, but comparison is like, dude, I already made it. I'm in a freaking private jet.
Yeah, well, what happens is you gotta, it's to each his own.
Yeah.
Opinion, how do you label success? In me, it was never the popularity.
Right.
The fame, because there's a lot of famous people broke.
Yeah, true that.
Me, it was the capital, man. I wanted to be financially cool, where if this is what I do for my livings, I made it, bro. Like,
yeah,
I don't have to work. Like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
We get money off of this. and the lifestyle is we still top shelf like everything. So we thought we made it. Now, if you were to say, well, y'all didn't go platinum or nothing, it's true.
Hood platinum though.
Yeah. We did to where we could headline a venue and sell it out.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people paying to come watch us, like meet and greets whole night. We did that. To me, I was cool with it. It didn't matter if and then that's what led to subscribers, and then later on led to millions of views, but it started with that, I think, with our attitude. But in hindsight, I think that attitude kind of kept a lot of doors closed at the same time.
Gotcha.
Because not everybody likes real confident people, especially alphas being in other rooms with other alphas, you butt heads. So then a lot of people didn't want us around. So then we had to switch it up and if we wanted to proceed in the music industry.
Gotcha.
So then that's whenever I started, so it's like whenever you reach it to a plateau that you're comfortable at, you enjoying the view, and you're like, what are we going to do from now? And I'm like, man, I don't know. I think I'm going to go back down and go check out all this stuff. And your partner's like, no, I'm going to chill up here. I'm going to go over here.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I kind of chose that route, and Word chose his route. And that's all it is I wanted to go do this and interact with more people when someone else kind of wants to go this way and interact with different people.
Gotcha.
But you knew it was coming because our interests are different. We're from different areas. We make music terrific together. But as far as our social, our social life, it ends up being different.
And I think I mentioned it last time also. I know you said saying the end is really harsh because technically y'all still doing y'all thing in a separate way. Maybe not in the combination, but he's doing his thing, you're doing your thing. And it just continues in a different path. And I think people grow up eventually, and that's what happens, in general. Whenever you get older, wiser, and you all of a sudden, and people just sometimes are not in the same frequency. You have to do what you got to do for you because you have a family. You have a wife, 15 years, so going to 16 years celebrating.
Exactly,
so,
Exactly.
So different. But I do want to bring up something because you had brought it up on another interview that something happened in 2020 and the feds, and you're still dealing. I hope you're doing good with the PTSD because I know you say you were kind of sort of dealing with a little bit that, the way they came in. But you beat those charges. Everything's already said and done. You're good to go, right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm off everything.
Did that kind of sort of let you, in combination with your wife going to church, to be able to change the way that you saw life in general as far as what music was going to be for you and the things that you wanted to do as far as the path that you wanted to take?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Once again, this is me adapting to my situation. So I started realizing, you start prioritizing your priorities pretty much. Like, and what am I focused on? Because there's certain jobs that you have that come with a certain lifestyle. Like when I worked at the clubs, man, working there 5-6 nights a week, making good money, but your yesterdays affect your tomorrows. So if I'm drinking, the next day I'm hungover and I got to do something with my kids, it messes up my whole day from what I did last night.
Right.
And whenever I got incarcerated and got out, and now I realized, man, I have to pay these lawyers. I have to do all these restrictions. I have to get on papers and all this stuff that I had to do until the case was finalized because COVID had hit. So, like, the court system's like,
shut down.
We don't know what's going on. Like, the 2020 was a very crazy year, not just for me, but for everybody, like the whole world.
Right.
When COVID hit, stuff was different. And I don't know what's going on. And the curiosity will make you go crazy because it's like, man, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what's going on. Like, it took me, I was sitting in there a few days before I was even realize what my charges were. My wife was out of town. Like, it was real crazy. So to come out and kind of like when you're in a situation and you're trying to get prepared for it, but you know what's about to come.
Right.
But I knew it was going to cost a lot of money, and I knew it was going to cause me chilling out because I don't know if I'm going to be incarcerated in a year from now doing a bid.
Mm-hmm.
If I am, that makes you deal with this year that you have with your family different.
Gotcha.
So now you're like, shut everything down. I'm going to chill with my wife and kids every day.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I might have to sit down. I might have to be over here.
Right.
that's what. So when you disconnect from everything else you got going on, people respect it, but you don't expect them to disconnect. They still go and do their thing, and that's what happened with us. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna prioritize family. I'm gonna do this, like the music business at the bottom. But because of our popularity at that time, you know, we were able to ink a distribution deal and ink a bunch of stuff. But it wasn't, as far as the leg work, like going out promoting, doing shows, that wasn't really there anymore because I'm in a different headspace. I ain't trying to leave. I ain't trying to do nothing. I'm chilling. I'm trying to get away from everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And not just for myself, but for everybody. Because when shit's hot, it's like, yo, I'm cooling, bro. Like, I'm on fire right now. I'm cooling. Go do what you got to do. So then that's what the disconnect is, because now you just see one person. The other person you don't see at all. You don't see me until I start finally realizing, hey, you got court dates coming up. We're looking at this. Okay, now I feel more comfortable to where, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me poke my head outside. What's been going on, y'all? I'm in the house, bro.
Do you think something in your mind, because even as a young kid, when the first situation happened, to your name becoming an accomplice, to those times as well, your name being accomplished, kind of without wanting to kind of live in that accomplice, you know, per se thing, do you think there was something that you needed to work out to be able to be like, okay, my name is accomplice, but it's just not me. I'm not going to be put in the situation that I'm an accomplice to anything. I'm just going to do what I got to do and just enjoy my family. Anything that you think that, like, kind of sort of like a cycle that you're working through at that time, or not necessarily?
I mean, that's a good way to put it, but that sounds like a statement more than a question.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a good way to, that's exactly what it was. It was a circle. It's like, yo, guilty by association, which is another reason why I'm disconnected from everybody else. Because if I'm falling in a hole, I don't want to drag y'all with me.
Gotcha.
And they're like, nah, we trying to help you out the hole. Like, bro, I'm more likely to drag you down than you are to pick me up.
Okay.
So how about you just keep on going? I'm in some quicksand right here. It's going slow, but I'm going down, bro. Yes. And then you realize the quicksand's only this deep. And then your feet hit, and they're like, oh, bro, the quicksand, it dried up. You're good.
How does it feel when you beat the case? When you're, because first of all, you were said in the interview that 20-something thousand disappear randomly, but you beat the case, and you were only given like a 4,000 compared to what was taken. How do you feel about, in general, just beating the case, and how do you feel about the money disappearing like that?
Oh yeah, when they ran in my crib and they said they only found this amount, that. I mean, to me, that's everybody's story. You know, I don't know what their salary is, but you know,
you think about that in other countries, right? You don't think like it would happen here in the U.S., but.
Yeah, I think it happens to everybody. You know, I think no matter where they find cash money, there's $20,000. They're gonna be like, "How much you find? $5,000." You know what I'm saying? They go pocket the rest. Yeah. You know, you can't knock them for that. Do I think it was unexpected? Nah, I didn't think it was gonna be that much. You know, I thought maybe they 50 cents on the dollar. You know, but
50 cents on the dollar.
Because you know they give you. It's like, you know, like, man, I got 20,000 in the safe, and then they raid your crib and they. Like, well, you getting all your stuff back because of the, you know, illegal search or seizure or whatever it may be. So then they give you a check. Here's your money back, and you're like, this is 4,000. Where's the other 16? They're like, that's all we found, bro. It's expected. It's like, yeah.
Wow. How do you feel though when you knew you were good as far as those cases, and you were just not gonna have to serve time, sit down, or anything like that? How do you feel for you?
You know. It feels like somebody's holding you down by your shoulders. That's how much weight's on you. Like, you can't get up. You're trying. Your legs are getting exhausted. You eventually going to fall down. And then they just let up. And now you're like, oh, shit. I didn't realize how much that was keeping me from moving around. How good it felt to move around. So it's the best way to put it. It's a big weight off your shoulders, man, of something that's just been dragging you down. And then finally, there's nothing over your head no more. Like, you know, there's not all these, you know, you could go to prison. We got a court day. We got another court day. We got this. And, you know, I'm looking at felonies. So it's like, it's crazy. But to be where I'm at, once again, blessed, bro.
Awesome. Now, during that time is when the KNON opportunity came to be. Mm-hmm. So somebody was looking after you because they were having a push on you because they seen you before, worked with them together in the clubs and stuff like that. They know about you. They know about the game. They give you an opportunity to be a KNON now for some time. What was the final count as far as the number one times that you were for that show? Do you remember?
2 years.
2 years, the whole time, number one. Amazing. Bro.
Oh, I don't know about number one. But
you were number one for a certain amount consecutive of weeks for a while.
Yes.
Do you remember what the final count was for those days?
I don't. If you ask me opinion, I'm gonna say
every day.
You know what I'm saying? Whole time.
But, whole time.
It was a new platform. The app was fairly new, and it was even called KNON Now.
Mm-hmm.
It was something new. So when you got like 30-something shows, and then you find out your show is the one doing the best.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I don't want to lose this spot. Let's keep going hard. But I had a great team. Everybody on the team, shout out them. And I think I do. To me, it wasn't that hard to entertain for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And jam out.
When you're a natural entertainer, when you plus, had good training from your pops, and it just goes down the line, all of a sudden it just becomes
internet radio. You have a lot more freedom, and it was super awesome. It's not like FM radio, with the it's just more radio etiquette and just more technicalities and certain situations you gotta stay away from boundaries. But
so for you, it's like literally training on the job, leading you up to being on FM, and you actually got to be on FM for a little bit in KNON.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
But then something happened. What happened? April 21st, 2024, you make a video announcing something that happened to you.
And that's actually a week from now.
Yes, sir.
The anniversary is next week.
By the way, very proud of you. I know we don't know each other like that. Congratulations, because at that time we were not even thinking about that at the time. I know at that time you said you were going to be an FM, and you met that goal with KNON, and then all of a sudden you get the news of what?
K104, man. Fourth largest radio station in America.
I like the way you put it as far as when you're telling it, of all the people that are there and all the names that have a lot of weight. Can you tell me that?
Yeah. To be in this position, bro, like, it's like, wow, I'm on K104. And not to, like, I ain't got to step on nothing to seem bigger. So, like, I'm not discrediting any other stations or talking down on them. But I'm just going to tell you the truth of my situation. Like, when I look at the schedule of work days, and on that schedule it says Dee in the morning, Little D, Bay, Cat Daddy, Mr. Hit That, and then me. So it's like I'm on a schedule with like legends, the icons. Like, these are people very impactful at their job, do it to the highest of the level. Like Dee in the morning, over 4 million listeners every day, like 90 cities syndicated. She is the voice of women's radio, and for her to be the head, of her show. Jay Cruz is on there, another legend out here. And then Little D, I mean, she's run Radio Personality of the, I don't even know how many awards. And then Bay, he had a platinum song about him. Dude, Cat Daddy, like, these are radio legends. Mr. Hit That is hot in the clubs. Like, they call me Mr. Hit That. Like, Mr. Hit That. And then me.
Yeah.
So it's like, for my name to be on that, man.
Does it give you, because I know you mentioned a lot, you like a good challenge, you like a challenge. Does it kind of makes you feel like, I need to be here, I should be here, and not only that, I'm going to strive on some, because I know that I like a challenge, and all those things are amazing and everything, but I'm still going to be who I am and continue to go as hard as possible because I like a challenge, and I know that I should be within those names.
I mean, I think I should feel like that due to all the work that I've put in. But the work that I've put in, I can only talk about it because I know it. I don't know what work they've put in because I know their names hold a lot. They're impactful names. And you got to think, me being on that list, they're like, well, Accomplice is dope. But then you get the for Latino, you know what I'm saying? Then you get that. It's like, oh, he's good for Latino. Well, I'm with people who hold weight for them in their whole top, like their top tiers of the level.
Right.
For any race, any genre, like these people. So for me to be a Mexican and be on K104, like I have to rep the culture. Like I got to show them, if they ever look at me, like, our music and our instruments and the way we season our food and our activities, socially. Like I have to embrace that and show that, and I'm honored and I'm proud to do it and to be the one to do it, because I think it's super dope, because my journey is a little bit different. Like I didn't go to broadcasting school, I didn't go to college, that type of stuff, when other people, that is what they did to get their job. Mine is just a very unique situation.
You went to a hustler university. You went to
yeah,
the
you know what I'm saying? So I can't tell people who go that way.
Yeah.
The real way that you do it, and that is very hard. And K104 is like, that is where you're trying to get.
So how did that situation come up? I kind of know a little bit of it. Jay Cruz kind of sort of put some people, your name on their radar to check you out. And then you had to deliver the day they were checking you out, and you did exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Cruz, it's all about who you know when you get in the industry.
How long you been knowing him for, though, too, though?
Yes.
Because you've been knowing him for some years.
Yes, and we worked together for so long and did so many things. And, working with Jay Cruz in promotions and events and the whole nine, and then building a relationship with him. When I went to community radio over there at KNON, he embraced me and gave me pointers. And then when it came to, we need, somebody impactful in Hispanic culture to represent K104, like we need the right person from Dallas. For my name to be mentioned, well, among others, everybody had a Mexican friend that would have loved to do it.
Yeah.
But for my name to be Jay Cruz's, hey, you got to check him out. Like, I can invite you to the gym and say my friend's a good basketball player, but you still got to perform. So the fact that I was able to perform means I earned my spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, he got me to the gym, but I still had to ball out. And I was just so honored that, they picked me. And they actually hired some other people that were Hispanic as well at that time. I don't know if you knew that. But I'm the only one still on the station.
All I know is who's still in the station right now. I'm just saying. No disrespect to him. I'm pretty sure they're great too.
Me neither.
I'm just saying, I just don't know. I just know that you're still there.
Yeah.
Continue to
and
do
me
it.
neither. And the fact that I started out, working 1 day a week, then 2 days a week, to now being on 5 days a week and being ready. It's like, having your own show. It's man.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? And to be here, it's all praise to God, man. That's how, like I said, I feel like I'm living my calling, like my purpose, because all roads led me here. Now, what I do with it, that's on me.
Yeah.
And I think me having this platform, it's only right because I understand a rapper.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody else could. I know I can. I can't speak for them, but I know I can. I understand the artist. I understand the prep and all the work that it takes, which is why I know how to treat them. I can get them platform. I can get them situations, and I do. Now I'm in rooms where I can actually bless somebody. So if I see them putting in the work, I could be like, hey, we should check out this artist. We should put this artist on air. We should try it. Now I'm in the rooms. What got me there was everything that I went through before. So the fact that I'm here now is kind of like, man, I have this platform. What am I going to do with it? Because I earned it. I don't owe nobody nothing. I could be the asshole that don't show nobody love. I could be that. And who's to say I can't?
But why do you want to, though? Why?
Exactly. I want to bless people. I want to help people. I think I got here because my calling was to, hey, bro, the view up here is crazy, man. Hey, who's out there working? Who's out there getting a? Oh, you. I'm going to invite you to the gym. Come ball out. And you give somebody an opportunity. That's why I still keep my ear to the streets. I still listen to young artists. I'm still out here outside because I'm passionate about it. So now that I really enjoy the job that I'm doing, I'm still getting paid for it. I'm out the clubs now, though. So the club just came with a lifestyle that me being married with children, I'm past.
Gotcha.
Like, I've partied enough for 4 lifetimes. You know what I'm saying? Working
Absolutely.
5 nights a week. Like, I don't drink no more. I ain't been drunk in a year and a half. Like, I think now my headspace is at, God put it where I could be here, and me being on this platform, I think I should. It's only right that I do bless people and try to put people in situations that could benefit, even change their lives.
Where does the desire to help out people come from? Because one thing is wanting to do it and be able to bless them, but having the wanting to do it, where does it come from? What did you see? What did you experience that wants you
morality, bro? Like if you don't have no morals, if you don't stand on nothing, you'll fall for anything. You gotta have morals, and me, mine are just Christian based, because I'm spiritual. So like I believe in God because of I know He's there through my life, and that's why I tell people I can only talk about my life. People are like, man, you made it to the radio. What cause did you go to? It's kind of like, oh shit, like. Even the girl editing this was like, yeah, I went to
School of Hard Knocks.
Like college radio and this and this. And it's just like, yo, I didn't do none of that. And I ended up here, and I ended up being dope at it.
It wasn't the conventional way, but you definitely found a way. So
yeah,
it's still a way. But people, they don't want to do the college part.
And that's what I'm trying to tell people. I'm like, bro, if you're passionate about it and you want to do this, you want to be in the music industry, you want to be on radio, you want to love what you're doing and get paid to do it, you can, but you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
And don't think because you didn't go to college, you didn't graduate, you didn't do all this other stuff that it's still out the box.
Because it wasn't even in your box at one time.
Wasn't even in my box.
And now it is.
But maybe somebody finds out that's what they want to do, because you got to pay attention to the signs. And the signs kept leading me this way. Like even whenever I was an artist, I was always still tied into events, still doing club hosting, still like, because I was passionate about it. And even the club hostings, I would still be able to, that led me to DJing, and that led me to playing artists still, seeing what the people thought about it. And, I enjoy it. And being from that field, and, it's like, man, I used to play that game. So you respect people who play it at a top-notch level, because you know how hard it is to do.
Knowing a lot of great DJs, they like vinyl DJs, freaking CD DJs, to whenever people call you DJ, because I know you know how to do it. Cause like, for example, I know how to DJ too, but because of the respect of all the DJ homies that I know, I don't like them to call me DJ. Cause
yeah, me neither.
Like, you know what I mean?
I push buttons, bro.
Hey, I push buttons. I get people dancing, I entertain people.
I bought the equipment where it DJs for me and it'll blend the song and everything, but I invest in the equipment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do understand now. There's people, man,
like some of the top ones too.
There's probably even some animals out there DJ better than me. I've seen some dogs and cats chopping it up.
Before I get to the next question, I thought about it when I was making my way over here, because you're more spiritual. You started a spiritual journey. Your life changed, and it's been that. Even your rapping is reflecting that currently. Yes. You're doing more Christian rapping. You would say Christian or more religious rapping? What would you call it?
That's a good one, man, because I'm not used to the genres on this side. But I guess Christian music, Christian hip-hop. I guess a good way to describe it.
Okay. Do you ever feel any type, because again, your life's changing. The club wasn't part of the lifestyle that you live in nowadays. Do you ever feel any kind of like contradiction because the music that gets played on the big station, which again, to each their own, however you want to play it, it's still a job. The hottest, is part of your job to know, but some of this music doesn't have conscious or doesn't have the best message out. Do you ever get conflicted at all for yourself?
Absolutely, but I know this ain't my end game right here.
Gotcha.
I think that this is going to lead to another situation that will put me in that. But the K104 stamp, having that stamp, I think God's going to prepare me for whatever's next. And who knows, maybe I end up having my own show, and maybe I'm on Christian radio, or maybe it's something else, because now that I'm tapping into that and learning more about it, I'm enjoying it.
So you have been exploring that side as well, as far as like opportunities for your music to get played and different things like that.
Yeah, because the more spiritual you get into, the more, and it's just like, you work at like working at K104, and I listen to hip hop all day. I enjoy hip hop, but it's just one of the genres I enjoy. When I get in my car, I'll be jamming rock and roll.
Awesome.
So it's like, because I enjoy good music, period.
Yeah, of course.
So whenever I get into the praise music, I start noticing, hey man, there's some dope Christian rappers. I'm barely getting on to them. So then I was like, man, I can make music like this. So then I did, and then I started getting the feedback. So now I'm starting to play with that more. And then I'm like, me, I pray a lot and talk to God when for whenever He does answer. I try to pay attention to the signs. But I think what I'm getting is that I think I will be led to that eventually once I maybe gain an audience. I'm not sure what the plan is for me. I never understand. But I trust God's timing that where I'm at is where I need to be right now for the next step.
Awesome. Since you still are in the space of hip hop and everything, as far as let's go the state of hip hop in Dallas right now. Who are you tapped in? Who's the hottest right now? For your opinion, the things that you hear, things that you see that they're doing the best. Let's say maybe rappers that people might not even be tapped into for the Dallas scene. Who would it be? It doesn't have to be Latino in this one. We'll get to the Latino here in a second. Who do you like?
Man, there's a lot, man. Now it feels like they're all becoming popular. Like, I don't know if you know this, but I booked Big X to plug very early in his career. Yeah, like years ago. And I had made a post on Facebook saying, I think this dude's going to be the next one out of Dallas.
Bruh, that year.
Post
that
Malone, I did his first show in 2015 with Brick Mason and Ashlyn. So that's another one. I made a Facebook post. I said, I think he's going to be the biggest white boy out of Dallas.
Got a good track record going.
Yeah, it's like I've hit a few of them.
So for right now, as far as the one,
I knew I had a feeling Montana 700 was gonna go because I had seen him with Hit That at Trees very early stages. I was hosting a show with Dave East, and they had opened up, and I had seen Trap Boy. I already had a relationship with a few of them from seeing them out. Little Ronnie was there, and when I see Montana 700, I was like, wow, because the way he carried himself and the way he was very professional. And sometimes when you're underground, first impression is a lot. So I was like, man, them dudes are gonna be dope. And Montana 700 and Zillion are dope. And now look what they're at now. Like they're big. He just got signed by Yo Gotti, and he's on fire. But I like OC Chris, bro.
Got you. OC Chris.
17-year-old kid out of Oak Cliff. I just had a conversation with him earlier because he's going to be my special guest at my event next week with Cap G. But 17-year-old kid, he's out of Oak Cliff. His name's OC Chris. He's on fire right now, bro.
Latino?
Yes.
Okay. What has been the common thing that you have seen in all these other people that you make posts that kind of sort of like it's almost the same thing? You kind of see it. Is it their demeanor? Is it the way they carry themselves? Like you said, something in particular that stands out, the way they carry themselves? Or is it the way that they talk? Anything that stands out for you?
Man, I'm real big on body language, bro. I think you got to be comfortable in your skin. That's whenever the saying, as cliche it may sound, but game recognized game, real recognized real.
Mm-hmm.
That authenticity in an artist, like when I heard like when you hear like a Big X, like you believe his lyrics. There's some artists out here that ain't believable.
They just saying it to say it to go to the emotions.
Pull up in a Ferrari in a Lambo with 100,000 cash. Like, bro, look at you.
Doesn't align.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, look how you're presenting yourself at this show.
Do you have to have the total package from
like one guy may have a bottle of champagne, diamonds on his neck, rapping a certain way, and this other dude's rapping about Lambos and Ferraris with 2 Bud Lights in his hand, and he ain't got no belt on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so presentation, everything from the start, from your shoes to your head, always have to have everything in point if you really believe that you're gonna make it.
You gotta have it, and that's why. Before I ever wore designer, or I was big on custom gear because nobody else had it, which is why I've always loved when people make clothes. I support them because it's like, man, you could
head to toes right now today.
Yeah, well, this was something from the mall, but like even where you shop, like at certain stores, like I know the owner, so I go to his store and I support. I've always supported independent businesses. I even tried to start a show about it, but it was knocked down due to legalities that I had signed for the radio. But I've always appreciated business owners and bosses, so me wanted to be in that lane, I always acted like one, and I felt that made me one, because they were like, "Oh, you're different," and I never felt, bro, I was never afraid to show someone love, because I was never threatened by their success. Anybody, I knew I was gonna get mine no matter what. Like, it wasn't no, he can get money, I'm gonna get money too. Like, I ain't gotta hate on nothing they got going on. I actually support. Oh, you got some clothes? Let me buy some merch, and I'm big on that. You know, just yesterday I bought this dude, this author, his books were at Kroger, and, you know, I supported a 21-year-old author. What was his name? Franklin Edwards or something. But I'm big on supporting independent businesses. I respect the custom clothes and the gear. And even before, if I couldn't afford designer, I respect somebody that if they're an artist and they're just wearing some, like, a clean white tee, but it's a brand new tee that they just bought, because that still shows cleanness, sharpness. You know what I'm saying? Because some people will buy a $5 tee from the gas station, still in the package, but they won't put it on to the club. They got the white beater on. You see the creases, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's still a certain way, if you ain't got the money, to still look a certain way. And I've always embraced that. We're like, okay, they got it, instead of other people that really it just didn't seem like they were comfortable in their own skin. They weren't being themselves.
Gotcha.
They were doing too much.
So that's how you kind of sort of point them out, to be like,
I gotta believe it. I gotta believe what you're saying. I gotta believe
gotcha.
what you're rapping.
Gotcha.
And to me, because now my first impression is you ain't lying. You ain't saying a bunch of lies. Hey, bro, I like this shit. You know, even somebody that goes in there ain't talking about gangster rap. They actually have substance in them. I respect that even more.
You believe it. You believe they went through that. You believe what they're saying.
Plus, that's the song they chose to perform out of all the songs they made in front of all these people.
With a lot of vulnerabilities for the lyrics he's saying, being open to them, and they still willing to perform it.
You know why? Because that's them.
That's them.
So I respect that. An artist going to give you. So me, wasn't nothing high roller till I became one. Get what I'm saying?
Got you.
So people respected it different.
You have to play the role when you get to that.
All the boss talk came when I was the boss, because I used to be the runner, but I rapped about running.
But you know what they talk about, like you have to really talk it in order. You got to talk even before you got to believe it and see it here before you even becomes over there, right?
Yeah,
so
fake it to make it.
consistently talking about how you're going to be there instead of how terrible you have it. Talking positive and talking like that is going to get you there.
True.
And not talking in that manner is going to keep you in the same place. So even if you're not there, as long as you believe it and talk it and keep over and over and over a period of time, it's going to get you there.
But that's why I tell you, I don't always know the difference between right and wrong. Like, sometimes my advice ain't the best advice. I'm just telling you, it's to each his own. Some people be like, man, you got to fake it till you make it. And they believe that with all their heart. That's why they're up there rapping about Lambos and Ferraris and stuff. That's cool if that's what you believe. I don't believe that.
Believe in that.
But I came up by being real. I came up by telling you my story. But that's how I came up. That's how I got on the radio, by doing the work, by praying for it and working just as hard as I prayed for it. That's how I came up. But not saying it's going to work for you, and not saying that the way you're doing it is wrong. I'm just saying how I did it. And I thought, I ain't going to lie to these people. If I'm broke, I'm going to say I'm broke, but I have dreams of getting rich. If I'm not going to, rap about. So that's just not me, though. But other people do that. Like you said, they do picture manifestation and stuff.
Yeah, manifested part is what I was talking about.
I didn't grow up on manifestation, like you talk it into existence. I didn't grow up on that.
I think it's more repetition over time will get you there more, believing that and fortifying your belief that you're going to make it, instead of talking down on yourself and still ending up not making it because you're still reinforcing that with those negative thoughts and negative talk. See what I mean?
Yeah, but, in my eyes, what you're saying is just pretty much common sense. Like, yeah, bro, you got to stay positive. You got to look for the good in the situation.
You'd be very surprised how many people don't find common sense in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but some people overdo it.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, look where you're at. Look what you're talking about. How about you just do 5 steps ahead instead of 100?
Got you.
Let's not overreach over here, buddy.
Still within your environment, but be realistic of the.
Yeah, same concept. Just don't make such a big gap.
Don't be in a Lambo already yet, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to be the big gap.
If you don't mean the Lambo, if you rolling them.
But again, to each his own.
Got
That's
you.
my opinion.
Got you.
I don't know the difference between wrong and right. I give a lot of horrible advice, but it makes sense.
I mean, it's like you can talk. And one time I thought about people. I don't know, for whatever reason, people ask me my opinion on certain things, and then one time it dawned on me that like there's a lot of responsibility for me opening my mouth to give them advice, because that might be life changing for them to do certain things. So unless people come to me and they ask me, I'm willing. But I know it comes with responsibility of me opening my mouth to tell you something, because it might make you do something and live that way, you know? So I have to be very, very conscious of who I tell something and the responsibility that I'm saying it with, because I don't know what's going to do to your life.
And that's what I started realizing once I started realizing who I was. Mm-hmm. So that was me discovering my calling and my purpose, because I'm like, man, I got to be careful with my words. Mm-hmm. I'm actually getting paid for my words. I'm actually getting broadcast to 100,000 people because of my words. I can actually sway their opinion.
Gotcha.
If they weren't thinking, like, because some people are open-minded. They'd be like, oh, I never looked at her like that. I just swayed your opinion, and me, I'm just being goofy. Maybe I had an ulterior motive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, I just want you to buy this product. So I talked a bunch of shit about, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So it's like, man, I swayed you. I did it for the wrong reason, to boost my pockets. Like, actually, they are a lot, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. When it comes to product-wise. But I've had a conversation, and it's super dope. He's probably one of the best videographers. I mean, K-Pac Films, I love him. I've had super talks where he's like, bro, it's because you told me this why I did this. And I'd be like, I don't remember what I said. Prophecy Films, a big producer in the region, like millions of views. Another guy was like, bro, it was that speech you gave me when you told me how you going to get 100% if you ain't giving 100%. And I quit my job the next day and started filming. And I was like, damn. And I don't remember what I said either.
But that man quit his job.
But what I'm saying is sometimes people, you can say something. That's what I started realizing, man, if my words are that impactful, I need to start. So what I do, I start finding literature. Hey, guy, what are you trying to tell me? I need to focus on my words, because you can either build someone up or you can tear them down.
Yep.
So I started saying, okay, I got this book called Power of Words. And I realized when they found the Grand Canyon, you know the Grand Canyon? The dude found it and was like, yo, there's this dope-ass hole over here. They're like, what? And he's like, yeah, I went hiking and I found it. I need to tell people about it. Maybe I could be their tour guide or something. They're like, so what are you going to do? He's like, I'm about to put up a bunch of papers. And he put the big hole on the papers and tried to tell people, yo, you need to go see the big hole. People are like, psh, the fuck? And then he got with a girl who became his wife, who was like, it's because you're calling it the big hole. Call it the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon.
And people will come and see it.
The Grand Canyon.
Same place. Same thing he's been telling everybody about. Now it's worth something because he changed the words.
Yeah, true that.
I started realizing the power of words. I read the book and I was like, wow, I need to really embrace what I say when people say to me. So then I started being like, okay, let me see. So then you start interacting with people. So now when you're that impactful to people's lives, or somebody be like, man, what is he going to say? I may take this, like you said, to use this. Mm-hmm. Now I started realizing that's where I'm at. That's how I'm going to bless people.
Yeah.
But I have to take my own advice, step one. Once I started taking my own advice and realized how shitty it was, I really started picking the advice I started giving out. Yeah. So I was like, that was horrible advice. Yeah. Because I used to tell people to crash out. Man, old bro owes me money, man. What should I do? Psh, tell you what you shouldn't do. Sit here and tell me about it. You better go handle that shit.
You better go take care of it.
And then they end up in jail for shooting up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I need to, I don't know what I was thinking, just because I was mad at the time.
How do you feel whenever you felt the power of words, and then look back in your life and to be like, man, this is why this happened, or this is why that, or this is that?
I mean, in hindsight, I had more strength to control myself for myself, emotion wise. A bunch of decisions wouldn't have been made off of, just impulse. Mm-hmm. But, I think the fact that I'm not dead or in prison right now, and I'm in a great place, it was God's plan to be like, when you pray for strength or you pray for patience, God ain't going to make you a fuzzy feeling and you're patient. You're strong now.
It's gonna give you the lessons.
He's gonna put you in a situation for you to be patient, you to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of my situation and my lifestyle because I quit cold turkey, quit working all the clubs at once, quit everything, quit drinking, quit everything all one day because I had a dream. And in that dream, God told me what I needed to do. Now, it's like me giving you information. I can write down the winning lotto numbers right now and give it to you on paper and say, hey, go buy a ticket. You're going to win some money. I did my job.
But if I never play.
If you never play.
I never win.
So I took God, what I felt was God was telling me. And said, you know what? I got to take a leap of faith. I'm going to quit every job. I'm going to see what he has in store for me. And I think by me doing that showed strength, showed trusting, a leap of faith, saying God's got me. Let me to K104. Let me to be where I'm at. Let me to be at home, my family, and still have a job I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And put me on a platform where hopefully I could pull some people up. Because it's a crazy view up here, and I do want people to realize if you work hard and you stay dedicated, but maybe the music you're doing ain't what you need to be doing. Maybe I can get a talented artist. Maybe bring him to enlightenment of spirituality and reading the Bible, whatever. And maybe we have the next big Christian hip hop rapper. Or maybe I ain't figured out all the rest yet, but what I'm saying is I'm where I need to be because I paid attention, but I had to follow my own advice.
But imagine that whenever you were doing the clubs and everything else, like your hands were occupied and not able to receive anything until you let that go and say,
exactly,
what do you have here for me?
Yeah, it's hard to pick something up when your hands are full.
We're running short on time. Thank you so much. I could probably talk to you some more, bro. You got some amazing words because, again, it's part of your calling and you definitely live up to it. I know you have probably going to drop the episode after your event, but I know you have some events lined up. I don't know if you have anything sooner or later.
Memorial Day, May 24th. OC Chris, who I talked about, will be there. Baby Youngin, another artist from Dallas. Super dope, on fire. Reverie, big artist from LA. Alex Rincon, it's such a dope event. I'll give you some tickets. And,
absolutely.
Pull up May 24th, Saturday, the Hideout Bar. Just follow me at Accomplice on air for all the steps that I got. Number one show right now, midnight to 5 a.m. The after hours after party with Accomplice.
Awesome. Couple more questions. Any shout outs? Saludos. Anything you have for anybody?
Shout out to Global Latin Factor, giving a platform to Latinos to, broaden their horizon, let more people know about what they got going on in this Latino world so that we could choose to support them or not, and what they got in their businesses. Because you've had a lot of dope.
Anytime anybody sits in that chair, like I said to my celebrities, not only that, but they don't realize how much they're teaching me in general. I take so much from a lot of people that sit right there.
Man, you've had some dope guests, bro.
I had some amazing people. Yeah. What is an important lesson that you learn in the radio industry that you would tell your younger self, meaning when you first got started, that would help somebody else out? What would that be?
Get to the point. When you talk, make sure that there's a point. Don't just be out there rambling, saying nothing. But that's what I would tell my younger self, because sometimes I would focus too much on one thing and not just get to the point where, say I was telling a story and I'll tell a bunch of filler and then, the ending's so dope. But if I lose your attention, it's like, man, if you just got to the point, you do what it got to the point. But yeah, that's what I would tell anybody out there that wants to be in the radio type of world, short attention span. If they're going to change the dial, just get to the point. Say what you got to say and get to the point. And if you do that, man, I think you can go far in the radio biz.
Awesome. This is question just personally to me. You can entertain it or not. It's up to you. And just because you're in the hip-hop station in the Dallas area and we got some news with Yellow BZ and Mo3, any thoughts on that at all whatsoever? It's just like, it is what it is.
I mean, it's just kind of crazy that all this resurfaced. I mean, that was 5 years ago, 2020?
2020.
It's kind of like, wow, why ain't y'all wrestling a long time ago? Like, I don't know if somebody just started talking or what. So then
Apparently
you question how
be.
much, validity's in what he's saying. Like, why hadn't he been said that?
Is that something that the station likes to cover, just because it's such negative things? Like, let's just move on.
Well, you got to think, bro. Every show, the host is running their show, But I know, Dee Dee and Bebe and all that have touched on it. Everybody's touched on it. We all have. But whether you choose to keep bringing up every new, because we don't make the news, we just talk about it. So if that's what everybody's talking about, we do. I like to throw my 2 cents in the jar, and so do they. That's why they are.
What were your 2 cents about that?
My 2 cents is, I think if they were hiding something, the truth is coming to the light, just like it always does.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe that's why it took so long. And I think once the truth is about to all be out there, finally justice will be served.
Absolutely. Usually, sometime during the week, during the day, I say something along those lines that I heard a long time ago. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. Not to scare me, terrorize me, or anything, put me in a panic, but it's a reality of life, right? With that, I wish you a long, long, prosperous life. However, after everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
Oh, man, I really hope I can help more people. I do want to be remembered as being a great father, husband. Really, other than my inner circle, my immediate family, I don't really care too much about what people have to say about me, because everybody interacted with me at different stages of my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's people I probably ain't seen since I was a kid. There's people who ain't seen me. Like, man, I feel like I've been growing every year. From the last time I seen you a couple years ago, I've changed a lot.
Absolutely.
And again, that shows to how much I'm evolving. But hopefully, I would like for my immediate family to know me as being a great father, great husband, great leader in my household, and hopefully I can steer my kids to be successful, God-fearing, men when they grow up. Because me, the key to life is family. So, everybody else, hopefully I touched their lives in a way that was beneficial for them. But if I didn't, my bad, you know what I'm saying? But to be remembered, man, everybody's going to have a different memory of you.
Yeah.
Because growing up in the streets, we have enemies too,
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully the majority is I impacted their life and beneficially. I was able to elevate them some way, somehow, because I think that's what we're here for, bro. Blessings got to flow through us on the others.
Yeah. Before I let you go, my last statement is that this is like the second time you bring in family and being a good father. I know it's like on the obvious, right, for you to be a better father, but why does it feel like it's such an important thing for you to be able to be the best father you can be?
Man, because since they were born, that's why I changed my life. Because I was like, everything they're going to know in this world is on me. When you read the Bible, a man is the head of his household. You form a covenant with your wife and your family. So when you're a leader and you're the leader of your household, you really hope that everybody under you is happy and they grow to be successful for what you led them into. My wife's ride or die. She's going to follow me no matter what, right or wrong. So I try not to lead them into the fire. Mm-hmm. I want to lead them to prosperity, but I can only do that by me being open-minded and me learning still. But once I close my mind off, then what I have to teach them is going to have a cap, and it's like, I can't teach you no more, son. Good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But because I'm in charge of their life, of where they live, what they eat, what they do, everything, I'm their role model. I want to give them something to be proud of.
Gotcha.
So they're like, Pops, I do this because my dad told me to. That goes back to, why I do things, because of my morality. Like, you do it because it's a good thing to do. And that's when your morals and your values come in, because when my sons see that, maybe it'll inspire them to do the same thing. And then now it's traditional.
Yeah.
Like us Rodriguez, man, we don't do that. We do this. So now it's tradition.
Awesome.
Just like, meeting for holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And whatever tradition you staple. Like, no, on Thanksgiving, we always eat at 6 o'clock. It's tradition.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make good ones.
Awesome. I love it, bro. Appreciate you so much. I don't doubt that, they definitely, when they look at your direction, you definitely, something that they see, right? Yeah, I'm not talking for your kids, but I think that you are giving them amazing example to look at, I've known you forever and a day, and like, for people, sometimes you feel like the person you met is like, that stays in your mind, and that's like the first impression type of thing, and that's who it's going to be, right? But after you mature, you realize that person has a right to grow, has a right to mature, has a right to continue heading the right way. That person, that an up and coming artist, can become a personality and have a #1 show and be Mexican American and still do his thing, without even the first impression that I ever had about you as far as meeting you to where you at now. Without a doubt. I mean, and you're right. Within the 2 years almost that we had our interview to this day, I still see you, being positive and continue to be open-minded and growing and pushing our culture, our Latino culture, bringing in, we didn't touch too much about it, but there's, you still putting in names as far as the ones that are up-and-coming artists. They're Latinos, they're Mexicanos, and you giving them a platform to be able to, like you said, I'm over here, let's see who I can bring up, as long as you put in the work. And that, to me, without a doubt, you definitely are a global Latin factor. So Accomplice, you are a global Latin factor. Thank you very much for being here.
Yes, sir.
This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe. Why? You got nothing to lose, and you got amazing stories, amazing knowledge to gain. And remember, we are just like you. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Bye.